And now, a special Christmas Eve Fandom Fridays because it doesn't pop up on Friday that often. Here is viewer request, Ruby Red and Brilliant Blue. Enjoy by Quarantine.Wings. Enjoy. Ruby Red and Brilliant Blue by Quarantine.Wings. Okay, stop. What's the point of having the dot there? Why even bother? The brunette girl, clad in the colors of crimson and black, set her weapon down. Her eyes gazed over the pale form behind her, inwardly noting that he resembled a certain pamper girl on her team. Ow! Ow. Nick! A little setup would be nice. You know, a little more than just a single line of narration would be kind of a given, you know. She pointed suddenly and jumped up and down. Are you her brother? She exclaimed. Look, I know Ruby is childish and naive, but I don't think she would suddenly start wondering if a random guy was her brother or not. The boy looked confused and looked behind him, then back at her, a small concern etched into his fingers. Whose brother? Mine's, girl about this tall. She indicated a height point with her hand, smiling. Snowy white hair like yours and blue eyes, but... She leaned closer with a smile. Yours are a bit deeper color. Perplexed, the other boy raised a brow. Sorry, I have no idea who you're talking about. I'm Jack. Jack Frost. Huh. Hey, other RWBY fans who watch this channel, do you guys know if we've done a Jack Frost character yet? The other girl was silent for a moment, then chuckled. He was pale blue, like deathly in a way of skin. His eyes were the only frightening thing about him. She couldn't help but muse at how fitting the name was. How amusing! Jack Frost, like the bring of snow. How amusing for RWBY? Yep, exactly. Also known as the Guardian of Fun. RWBY paused and tilted her head. I was kidding. Did you really think it was Jack Frost? The boy before her chuckled and they hooked Kane to his chest, or sleepy eye freezing the tip of his scythe. Hey, I worked really hard on this, the girl fumed, trying in vain to rub the ice away. You weren't surprised by that? The boy murmured in surprise. He seems rather calm for a guy who just randomly showed up in an alternate dimension. No, I mean, it's really cool, but you don't have to freeze my weapon. She tried to sound angry, but he sensed the underlying humor and grinned, stepping towards her in 3 long strides. Sorry, Red. Didn't mean any harm. He pondered and finally met her gaze. Wait, did you make that? Ruby smiled and nodded, suddenly awkward. Yeah, give me a bit of dark when it comes to my weapon. Cece boostily played with her hands. Ruby! They both visibly flinched at the intriguing voice, turning to see a blonde-haired girl running her way. Ruby noted her sister barely towards him and smiled at Jack. Looked a bit on edge, but ignored it and remoted towards the girl. That's my sister! Her name's Yang. Oh, and I'm Ruby. Ruby! Her sister breathed heavily as he ran up, wrapping an arm around the brunette's neck. Why are you here all by yourself? I know you're not a social butterfly, but you could at least try and make friends. Ruby opened her mouth to protest, but was cut off by the golden-haired's voice. Besides, the ones you've already met. Ruby flustered when her sister wrapped her arms around her and twirled. Jack wanted to be as expressing. In case you didn't notice, I'm not alone here. That made Yang pause. Oh? She flipped this way and that, eyeing the area. I don't see anyone. She huffed finally. Wait, he's right here! Wait! She was already being dragged away by her sister, looking to see the familiar blue-hooded figure disappearing from view. Jack Frost. Ruby! Ruby! Hello, after Ruby. The brunette girl sent back, realized he was being paced by Yang. Really, Ruby, what's up? You've been so spacey these last 2 days. She giggled awkwardly at this, running her hand over her arm. Sorry, just been thinking. About what? Other plans of story school today with Dust? Wise teased. Ruby huffed at her cheeks reddening. That was one time. I did destroy the school either. It was an accident. She continued to protest, though Weiss had already tuned her voice out. With a smirk, the white-haired girl flipped her side tail over her shoulder, strided out the room. Seems the princess woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, Yang chuckled. She does seem a bit grumpier than usual, Blake commented, yellow orbs glued to another book. Ruby finally stopped, blue in the face, and noted the white weather outside. It's snowing! Weiss returned to her room then, face grunted with a noise. Of course it's snowing. It's in the middle of December already. She carried a cup in her hand, sipping as she strided in. It's just snow. Why are you getting worked up so much over anyway? Ruby could only shrug, a small smile grasping her lips. I'm not sure. It's just so refreshing, I guess. That and you make snow angels. The girl tidily chimed in, bounced back and forth to the window. Her silver eyes lit up, sincerely seeing stars. Guys, we should totally have a snowball fight. You know, you keep mentioning the girl so often, I'm starting to think Ruby's name is the girl instead of Ruby. Weiss groaned. Yang cheered and pumped her fist at the idea. Blake just looked at her before turning her eyes to the book, only response a small smile. All right, it's settled, Ruby grinned, running for the door. Well, let's go, slowpokes. Yang grinned and wrapped an arm around Weiss, pulling the resisting girl along. Hey, what are you... Every single time. Fix. I'm going to repeat this lesson until I stop singing this. But... Class. Basic English 101. When a new speaker starts speaking, you make a new paragraph. That means you press the enter button. You do not, I repeat, do not ram the two sentences together, even if it's a direct action. It still makes it confusing and looks like that one person is saying the same thing. You don't do this. Please, everybody, go out, learn. Why is this such a new thing? The young girl grinned and pressed against her, but to her dismay, she didn't buckle. Oh, come on, you know you want to, Yang chimed. Blake trailed after them without removing her gaze from the book. It should be something to really stress from all the day's classes. Weiss groaned and protested along the way. Ruby grinned as he fled, leading the girls out into the crisp, snowy air. Weiss stood there with crossed arms, nose turned up at them. Oh, come on, don't be so dramatic, Weiss. Yang noticed her, to which the girl scoffed. I'm not being dramatic. I'm the one who was dragged out here, and you... She pointed an accusing finger at Ruby, eyes narrowing. We have studied to do. A lot of studying. Ruby sighed. Weiss, we've been studying all day. Is this a small break? Ruby smiled gently, tried to convince the girl. Weiss didn't comment. Instead, only huffed and turned away from them. Snowball! A voice screamed. A ball of light hitting the back of Blake's head. The girl's eyes narrowed playfully, zeroing in on Yang. So, it's a challenge then. She smirked. In a rare moment, politely placed her book aside and pulled her weapons out. She threw them, Yang flinching when they made contact on the ground before her, sent a wave of white crossing over her. Gah! The older girl's voice was driven out by the crashing snow. Ruby fell to the ground laughing. Blake smirked. Weiss turned her back to them, trying to hide a faint smile on her lips. Yang emerged from the snow, her hair tinted with pieces of white, and red face from the sun cone. Oh, it is so on, she grinned, jumping from the snow with help from her thrusters. Blake chuckled across her arms. If you could catch me first. I would make a bubbly joke, but I won't. I like to think I'm better than that. And higher heels and yelling happily. on, why still you having fun? Ruby danced and threw up a bunch of snow and began falling around her in a dizzying swirl. The white-haired girl scoffed and strolled her, placing her hand on her hips and moving her arms in exaggerating gestures. Why would I do that? I have much better things to do, and now it's just that so I can carry us back to our studies. But Ruby began. How the girl was already strolling off. She sighed and slumped over. Surely playing in the snow wasn't that bad. She didn't see a random snowball fly from behind her and slammed it back at the white girl's head. Weiss flipped around and glared. Ruby jumping out, startled to see the expression. Oh, what? Really, Ruby, you could be so childish. She stormed toward her, and Ruby stepped back, hands up surrender. Wait, what did I? You know very well what you did. Weiss interrupted, pointing an accusing finger at her. Ruby flinched back from the accusing tone. Flustering under the sudden scrutiny from the other, Weiss continued, just because you guys like to play doesn't mean... She was interrupted when a snowball hit her again, this time dead in the face. Unable to help herself, Ruby suddenly chuckled, a bit awkwardly, when Weiss's heated blue gaze shot back to her. Ruby was convinced the snow melting around the girl's face came from anger. Weiss huffed and stormed out towards where the snowball came from, muttering about incompetent teammates. Ruby sighed and shook her head, trailing after her when she ran into a familiar blue form. Ah, Jack! Ruby beamed. You didn't expect to run into you here? He shrugged nonchalantly. I tend to hang around isolated areas. Nobody really notices. He looked grim when he said that. Face downward, hood pulled up. Hey, are you looking? You seem a little down. The Crimson Hood girl commented, catching a small clip in his tone. Jack shrugged. I'm fine. Ruby? She nodded once, and he smiled. It just gets a little lonely out here. So, why don't you go inside and talk? You know, with people. She tried. You mean people who explode things like you? He joked. Ruby huffed and slapped his arm. Hey, that was not my fault. It was an accident. Why does everyone remember that? She flailing her arms and slid around her hair. Jack only laughed, playfully smirking and flitted about in the air. Oh, you can fly? The boy in blue nodded eagerly, pleased by the girl's reaction and flitted down. Yeah, it isn't too hard. This staff helps, he indicated the crooked cane. Ruby gets closer, eyeing it like a child would on a giant piece of cake. It's beautiful, she murmured, eyes sparkling in sparkles. Jack raised a brow, curious at her odd behavior, at the same time flattered. It's just my staff, but it's pretty special. I feel more, he paused, complete, I guess you could say. Ruby lit up, pointing dramatically. Finally someone gets it! What? The attachment to our weapons. Weapons? He asked. Well, yeah, we use these to fight. She pointed first to her gun scythe, lying across her back, then to the staff in her pale fingers. I guess so. I just never thought of calling it a weapon. Parker aloud, gazing at it with fascination. Always been a staff to him, oppressed as I am. Now as he mentioned, it was the extension of him, technically. So, your name is Jack Frost? He nodded once. Yep. So he went to ask another question, but he cut her off, other ideas on his mind. It was a swift swipe, but he took her well-cared-for weapon and opened it, squeaking in surprise when it removed into the form of a scythe. You know, the girls don't always carry their weapons with them. He laughed cheerfully, slicing the air playfully, scratching a few trees, forcing it to be in his way. Be careful of that! She grabbed her weapon, but he held it away. First, I want to ask some questions. So, he paused. She stepped back, blinking at his sudden shifting character. You can see me? He raised a brow. Sounded more like a statement than anything. Ruby looked confused. Yeah, pretty sure everyone can see you, she commented. He didn't respond. Instead, crossed his legs and settled his feet into the ground. I mean... Is there a reason for you to ask you that? It's not exactly something everyone asks. I'm not exactly everyone. He frowned, hiding further his blue hood. Wait, I mean... She floundered, unsure what to say. He didn't mean to hurt his feelings. What does he even do, or say? The staff was clutched in his hand tightly, as he made a mental note to ask him all about it, or how he made it. Her weapon sat in his other hand. Sea Smart grabbed it from him, to which he squealed surprise and fell back, legs flailing in the air before he regained and lost balance. The sight had Ruby stumbling over himself before laughing, as did Jack, both laughing so hard that he takes several moments to catch their breaths. Jack pulled his hood down with a grin. Ruby's heart and soul folded back up, to which he placed it across her back again.
Alright then, Jack Frost,
She began, skimming her side.
I'll answer your questions if you answer mine. You?
She held out her hand in offering. A stirring smile graced her lips. Jack grinned and shook her hand, quickly regaining the enthusiasm he had lost not moments before. Ruby made a mental note not to ask too personal a question. All right then, Ruby, what? Ruby interjected, wagging a finger.
You already asked me a question. Now it's my turn. So,
She leaned closer, her silver eyes narrowly, playfully.
is your name?
Oh, come on, Ruby. I know your child is naive, but not this much to re-ask the same question at least 5 different times. Ruby laughter.
Hey, what's so funny?
Ruby swatted his arm again. Of course I'm Jack Frost. Notice the snowballs I've been throwing? He chuckled at her perplexed expression.
Did he really think he was? Wait, Jack Frost. You're Jack Frost.
She inquired, eyebrow raised suspiciously.
Bringer of snow and ice, the great legend himself, the...
As much as I love hearing those wonderful things about me. He erupted, a cocky smirk on his face. Yes, I am that Jack Frost. I know what brings people snow days and gets them out of school. Also, the guardian of fun.
Guardian of... fun?
He bowed easily, the one and only. Ruby stepped closer, eyeing him.
Well then, Jack Frost.
She indicated towards the direction.
If you're the controller of snow and ice, then why can other people summon it?
He faltered as he smirked. Well, that's easy. I'm not the only spirit out here. I mean, I'd be more surprised if it was just me. She blinked.
Spirits?
He nodded eagerly. Yes, the world's filled with them. In fact, I know you believe in them. Ruby tilted her head, eyes wide.
How did you know, though?
Because if you didn't, you wouldn't be talking with me now. Ruby paced the area, her face scrunched in concentration, while Jack sat cross-legged in the snow, enjoying her dilemma too much. Even after explaining all of it, it was just too much.
Cast! Still don't get!
There's nothing to get, Red, he chuckled. Don't overthink it. You believe in spirits, so you could see us. Not that big of a deal.
But that means Yang didn't see you either,
He concluded. Jack tilted his head, white hair swinging in the breeze. Yang?
My sister, blonde hair girl you saw earlier.
Ruby plunked down beside him with ease. Oh, the crazy girl who dragged you off. Jack grinned. Ruby rolled her eyes, but shrugged and laughed.
She can sometimes be a bit crazy. Really, she's just energetic.
She nodded. You two look nothing alike. I never guessed you'd be sisters. He grinned, grabbing a strand of his hair between his fingers. Ruby huffed and pulled her hair from her fingertips.
Well, not every sibling looks alike.
Jack shrugged, not really caring, lazily floating in the air. Ruby watched with fascination, head tilting and getting to her feet.
So, how do you fly like that?
He chuckled, a mysterious grin plastering his face. Ruby nervously let down and took a step back.
What do you think?
She was caught off guard when he grabbed her arm and grinned, calling out to the wind.
Wait.
Wind, take us up, he called. His grasp on her tightening. Ruby tried to back away when a sudden breeze blew in, growing stronger by the second, because he could keep the flutter and dance around her.
Wait, Jack, what are you doing?
Ruby tried to be loud over the wind, but the hooded figure had ignored her worried calls. Wind grew stronger, feet no longer touching the ground. He flew skyward. Ruby could only scream as he barreled through the earth. Yang chuckled where her eyes spotted a familiar black figure. Above her, a snowball air formed in her hands. Smirk grew across her face as she tipped over, intending being sneaky. From what she saw, the girl was absorbed in her book again. Yang snuck close and raised the snowball, flying over her head, sent it flying, only for it to hit a tree. Gosh, so close! Yang flailed her arms, like eyes glowing playfully as he gathered up the snowball. Just you wait, Blake! All that answered was a giggle before a figure emerged from behind a tree. You have been going at this for almost an hour. Perhaps it's time for a break, Blake offered, and tilting and awaiting an answer. Huh? No way. This is just getting started. Bond shouted cockily, placing her hands on her hips. Unless you're getting tired. Blake smirked, shaking her head. There you guys all! A voice called. They turned to see none other than Weiss, white hair disarrayed, a permanent scowl on her features. She emerged from a pair of bushes, slapping anything aside that got in her way, storming over to them. Meaning, throwing snowballs at me when I don't want to play, playing in the same snow when we could be studying, she murmured as he approached, irritated mumbles dying down to non-existent words. Blake blinked. Yang raised an eyebrow. Weiss, are you alright? Golden-haired Carol came over, tilted her head, hands still on her hips. Blake followed suit, coming to stand on the other side of her. She said nothing, only jumped in, staring the girl down quietly. Weiss moved her hand, shooting him off and scoffing. Of course I'm fine. I love being dragged out of the room and snowballs being thrown at me, she said happily, anger seeping through mocking tone. Yang laughed. You're still mad at that? She noticed her again. Girl grumbling did so. And I'm sure Ruby was just trying to get you to loosen up with the snowball throwing. A little fun every now and then is good, Blake added. Weiss frowned, flinging her arms down and hands curling to fists. You know very well Ruby isn't the one who threw the snowballs. Yang tilted her head. Blake continued staring. Oh, then who did? Yang asked. Weiss pointing first at Blake and then Yang, glaring. It was one of you two. Don't play stupid. Hey, calm down. Don't tell me to calm down. Weiss scoffed, puffing exaggeratedly, stomping the ground. The point is, Yang began, grabbing the girl's shoulder, turning her back to face them. No, we didn't throw any snowballs, Blake finished. We haven't been anywhere near you two. The pale blue-eyed girl sent her gaze to him, then frowned. It certainly wasn't Ruby. It came from behind her, Weiss concluded. Didn't there someone else beside Ruby? And you left her alone? Yang accused, eyes flaring with briefest red before turning purple. Probably another person wanting to join the snowball fight, Blake interjected quickly. Yang calmed down a bit and nodded. Weiss huffed. I better hope I don't find them, she crossed her arms. Screamed and ranted for somewhere in the forest, all of them freezing. Or I could be wrong, Blake added. Yang took off, the other two quickly flying off towards where the scream came from. Ruby flailed in the air, Jack laughing at her misfortune, so he traveled higher and higher till he was above the clouds. The girl at Crimson turned this way and that, attempting to get her bearings, but finally gave up and went with it. Okay, can you put us down now? Ruby huffed, flowing about more when they were sent spinning into a loop. No way! This is just so much fun, Jack yelled happily, having a hand wrapped around the girl's arm. Come on. Don't think about how high we are. Just enjoy flying. A little hard not to think about it when I can't exactly fly. Ruby yelled over the wind, sneezing as he went through the rather wispy cloud. Jack laughed, his blue eyes twinkling. Eventually Ruby found she was enjoying herself. He released his grasp, to which she protested. She ignored her and chuckled again, enjoying the discomfort she was in. The axes were the best part of this. Flying next to flying someone beside herself in the wind. Ruby flitted about, the wind pressing across every inch of her and making sure she stayed afloat. So did the boy, clad in blue and brown pants. Eventually she gave up on trying to find her equilibrium and let the wind push her this way and that. The sky darkened into a lovely pinkish blue shade, clouds preventing any of the grain from straying the wonderful night. Okay, maybe this is a little fun, Ruby chimed, enjoying the view of getting out of the sky. Jack smirked, flying over to her and nodding. Told you. Flitted over and gave that last mischievous smile. Ruby, having the full experience of his first smirk in hand, began shaking her head rapidly. Her hands shot in front of her last moment help. No, Jack, where he is, don't you dare. Too late. Jack interjected. Suddenly the wind stopped. No, Jack! Ruby screamed, and he fell back to earth, eyes watering from the speeds they were going. Jack screamed in adrenaline, diving head first. Ruby, who had been twirling and dizzy somersaults in the same way, started screaming as well, this time in excitement. Jack clutched his staff tight and descended their ascent towards the ground. Elf landed with a small pop in the snow. He jumped up and cheered, bouncing on his heels while Ruby remained on her back. Silver eyes wide and staring into the sky. That was so much fun. Jack beamed, hopping over to the motionless girl. Red? He stared down at her, concern flashing over his features for the briefest of moments.
That was so awesome,
Ruby yelled, pumping up full fists to the sky, legs kicking happily.
Been missing out. That was amazing.
Jack grinned and helped her up, cockiness returning. It is pretty amazing, isn't it? Ruby suddenly jumped her eyes, taking to the sky once more. The adrenaline pumping through her fades.
Oh man, it's late. How long were we up there for?
Jack shrugged, eyes shutting before operating again. I think a few hours? He offered.
Few hours? Oh no, my sister's probably figuring out.
Ruby smiled, jumping around trying to figure out which way was which.
Where are we anyway?
I landed us a few feet away from where we were earlier. Flying girl isn't exactly a normal sight around here, I'm guessing. Or at least a rare one. Not unless, your semblance is flying. Ruby went to answer, but heard yelling from far off, slipping over to feet.
Oh man, he groaned.
That your sister? Jack asked, leaning to staff raising her brow. Ruby nodded.
Her and my other two teammates.
Teammates?
The silver-eyed girl shrugged. Long story. Showing up, we're partnered up. Two of us are made into teams of 4. Leader is chosen, which happens to be me.
She pointed to herself. Jack paused, a growing grin on his lips, and tried to contain his laughter. You? Yes, trying to frown. You, a leader? He pointed to her, trying to imagine it. Only in a full of laughing when he did.
Hey, it's not that funny.
Ruby groaned when her name was called again and sighed. Jack continued his laughter, quite literally rolling on the floor, holding his stomach. The name calling grew closer before Yang emerged from a pair of bushes. Eyes widening and filled with relief as he fell on the short girl. Baby sister! I was so worried. Where have you been? Yang wrapped her in a tight hug, squeezing any air left to let her lungs anyway. Blake soon followed after. Daniel erupted up looking Weiss.
Why didn't you answer us, Ruby?
Weiss yelled, but Ruby heard the underlying concern in her tone. We were worried. We heard a scream and then we couldn't find you. Blake frowned, eyebrows scrunched in a hurry.
I'm sorry. Didn't realize how late it was.
Ruby replied lamely. Jack had long ago stopped laughing. When she turned to look at him, he only shrugged. Could he really not see him? His blue eyes seemed focused on Weiss. Eyes scrunched in concentration as he examined her. Yang kept an arm around the girl in a red hood. 3 hours weighing answers.
I actually met someone out here. They sort of jumped out and scared me. A boy, actually. That's why I screamed. We started having a snowball fight, and he took me flying and I...
Flying? Yang interrupted. Sis, are you sure you didn't know? Fall asleep? Ruby rubbed her arm sleeplessly.
Never mind. I didn't mean to worry all of you.
They all looked at each other in concern, but relented their questioning. Weiss rolled her eyes. Blake merely crossed her arms. Yang sighed in relief, happy to see her sister unharmed. Even as he was taking off things to flying, Weiss finally stepped back towards the girl and grabbed her arms, pulling her back towards the building. Don't you ever worry us like that again, Ruby. Now we've been out here for hours. It's time to get back to work. I don't even think of getting me started on the overactive imagination. Flying? I know we're magical, but last I checked, the only way we fly is with assistance. You're not magical, it's just an innate ability. There is a difference. Blake trailed after her quietly, once again soared back into her book. Yang pulled up next to the girl, clattered back, looking this way and that. So who's your new friend, Ruby? Ruby frowned.
And that's when we found our way back.
Sia slowly saw the figure trailing next to the 4 of them, walking next to her, a knowing smirk, that sent a splash of ice across the hand towards her. What was that? Weiss jumped, grabbing her hand and glaring at the area. Jack laughed brightly. Oh, I can already tell she's gonna be fun to mess with. Ruby chuckled, to which Weiss narrowed her eyes and stormed off. Jack chuckled and floated in the air, offering this about the girls. See you later, he mouthed. Ruby nodded. He grinned and flew off, already planning a million pranks for that blue-eyed girl he found strangely interesting.
Well, that seemed cute and interesting,
But you know how I feel about reviewing fics on Christmas. Well, see you in about a few weeks. Time for a New Year's and Christmas break. See you later.